Over 14,000 educators showed up in Raleigh, North Carolina on May 16th. Why?
My biggest concern is funding for the fine and performing arts. Lacking adequate funds to have the equipment and resources that we need to provide students with opportunities.
Throughout the rally, many people showed up with handmade posters which included their thoughts about the negative aspects on the education system in North Carolina.
Some of these people who hold the posters are not just teachers. They also include children, students, and other family members who believe that this is a detrimental issue.
With teacher pay, academics, and educators' families in jeopardy, it is understandable why these actions were taken.
The overall level of just respect for teachers and educators has been on the decline. Teachers and educators being treated like professionals, not being seen on the same importance level as, what we would consider to be a professional, like a doctor or a lawyer or anybody in the medical field or something like that. While we may not be holding somebody's heart in our hand and saving a life instantly, we're shaping future lives and we're shaping the future of our society.
Teachers marched for the plethora of disadvantages such as cut in longevity pay, master's degree pay, and high class sizes on May 16th in attempts to push for these issues.
Class size is a touchy issue because with funding as what it is, it's difficult to make larger class sizes, smaller class sizes, but that's what needs to happen. Kids learn better in an environment when they have more access to their teacher.
My grievances with the education system in North Carolina is the fact that, and we have received some very small pay raises over the last 4 years, and I think that's a step in the right direction. They've been very small once you break it apart into a monthly payment. For the previous 10 years or so, we have been frozen on our pay scale. So there's pay that's an issue. We're ranked about 37th, I believe, in the nation in education spending as a state, which is not last, but it's not anything to really be proud of.
I have been in education. This is my 5th year as an educator, 3rd year at Heritage Middle School. I think technology has changed in the sense of we have laptop carts now in the rooms, and I feel like technology is being stressed. I think that's a good thing. I guess for the worse, you could say students aren't maybe as prepared as they were before in 5 years that I've seen. But overall, I think it's growing, it's improving overall.
This protest is well needed and necessary.
There's not enough money to protest in some counties and states. They can't effectively run a school walkout.
We are protesting for everyone.
Every year we're asked to do even more with less, and it's time for that to stop. We need better conditions, we need better pay, we need more spending for students, we need better classrooms, we need more schools to accommodate the growing size of North Carolina.
I think it's an incredible outpouring of support and love for one another and for the students in our state.
There are thousands of teachers who support this need for change, but how do students feel on the topic?
Very important because it keeps teachers involved and it makes sure that they're compensated fairly for all the work that they do and the effort they put into their work. Class size is important because if you have too big a class, then it's really hard to keep everybody in line and to keep people engaged because you can't teach to everybody and people have different learning skills. Education, vital, because if you're not educated properly, you can't partake in things like this and you don't know the importance of the history of these kinds of movements. Students have to put effort into their work and have to care about what's happening, and they have to take part in movement and in their own education. Change, hope. Change is hope for a better future and for everything that we ever wanted and for us to fight.
Some kids not all kids are the same. So you're gonna have some kids who are really good, some kids who are very smart, some kids who don't care, and some kids who just goof off the whole time. And as a teacher in general, I see that a lot, and it's very, very irritating for me as a student because they're holding me back from learning, and it's holding the teacher back from giving me what I need to know from later in life.
With no experience needed, an Instagram coordinator for a local company in Florida can make the same entry-level pay as a public school teacher of around $30,000 a year. For this job, you simply like all user comments, sponsored posts, and tag stories, engage with all user questions, review tag posts, and review company hashtags, as described by an advertisement for the job. For many jobs that require little to no prior education makes as much or more than teachers, who have to obtain at least a master's degree for the job.
You're probably wondering how students also have to do with why teachers chose to rally. The amount teachers get paid affect how teachers teach their class as far as their attitude. We can start off with interview answers to, would you consider becoming a public school teacher in the future? When asked this question, the highest answer was no, due to lack of interest in the profession. The second highest answer, however, was no, due to students believing that it doesn't pay enough. And they're not wrong.
They're the reason that everybody has a job. Like, without school, then we wouldn't have doctors, lawyers, other teachers, so they're pretty much everything.
I think teachers and education is really important to our society, to our future, and to our careers.
Not only do students have their own opinions on teacher pay and the education they receive, but also student spending is greatly involved in the matter. For those who don't know what this is, student spending, according to Index Bundy, is the average general government expenditure, which means current capital and transfers, per student in the given level of education. Or in simpler terms, it is the amount of money allotted to be spent on school supplies and things the teacher needs for their classroom. This then affects the level of education the student receives, as well as the amount of resources that are present in each classroom.
With all of this being said, it is obvious that change must happen. The need for better pay, higher education, and longevity pay for teachers is something that we should not overlook. Those who mold the future of this country are getting paid far less than what should be considered respectable. With cuts to classes, this leaves teachers with lower work hours and some with no jobs at all. Things must change. Not only would a pay raise help ease the financial stress on teachers and their families, but will ultimately lead to a more positive work and school environment for both teachers and students. The teachers have tried to help themselves, so what are you going to do?